SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Oh, look at this. Look at this. TSN has released their own trade board, guys. And I know we're going to talk about CJ live in Coburg, but it doesn't include CJ because CJ does the athletic one.
So TSN's is dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Actually, at the top of it are both Pedersen and TJ Miller. Or JT Miller, excuse me.
It's what?
I was up early.
TJ
Detweiler. Yeah. So, just saying.
TSN.
They got the
Right at
same,
the top.
They got the same guys at the top then.
They do. They do.
TSN
Which
stands
one-
for this stupid nonsense?
Which one's first?
Pedersen for TSN and trade bait.
So Pedersen's first on TSN, and who's first on the athletic?
That's okay. Athletic
I'm gonna say
trade
TJ
board.
Miller.
No, they call it the trade board. Trade board 3.0. There it is. And it is Pedersen.
Okay, so they both agree.
Yeah.
Pedersen
Yeah.
won over Miller. That's interesting.
The where they differ is Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson at 3 is on TSN. They have Ivan Provorov at 3 with the Athletic.
Evan Provorov.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I find that interesting because the Columbus Blue Jackets are a wagon at the moment. So it doesn't feel like they'd make a trade, but maybe they'll still rebuild. I mean, Provorov is probably not sticking around, so.
Coming up with a trade board must have been extra difficult this year because, who's a defined seller? It's hockey trade season.
It's true. Yeah. And again, there's too many people fighting for spots to really kind of, yeah.
Even the teams with some discontent they still want to make it,
Sure.
right? So
And you can still.
Yeah, of course. Even no one wants to hear this, but even the Rangers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
The Islanders are still looking at it like this. We're in it. We're going to be fine.
They're a hot week.
Yeah.
I keep saying hot week, but almost the entire league is a hot week away from being it.
Now,
I think the most interesting thing about the trade boards is who TSN has at 11, but the Athletic has at 30.
oh,
It's quite a difference.
can you take a it's a Leaf.
I knew it was a Leaf. It has to be Nick Robertson.
Nicholas Bobertson.
Yeah.
That's quite almost a 20 spot difference, 19 spots.
Because I think it might have something to do with that trade doesn't really matter.
But it's the 11th most important according to TSN.
They're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Is it most important or most likely? What do we think?
I think that's what it's weighed on.
No, it's not, because then Pedersen and Miller wouldn't be 1 and 2.
Well,
Yeah.
they're wrong.
That's not how. I don't think that's how it works.
No, they're wrong. He's a Leaf, so I guess it's interesting to their audience. But now it depends which Nick Robertson is getting traded, because Dangle Damas over here, if you're trading for regular Nick Robertson, I don't think that's a trade worth making. I don't know if that changes your hockey club.
Right.
If you're changing for Nick Robertson coming off of a healthy scratch, you are getting basically younger Mike Bossy.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, if the boards were made for what trades most likely, we're getting people like Taylor Hall at 1 and Trent Frederick. That'd be the one.
Taylor
and
Hall
two
and
and
his
things
$6
like that.
million.
CJ threw out Marcus Pedersen from the Penguins.
Yeah,
I like that
Pedersen
one.
would be 0.0.
So he agrees Pedersen at the top.
There you go.
You see?
Hey.
I don't know if Nick Robertson's on the move anymore.
I don't know either, but we can get into that in just a second. I just want to give a quick plug to a hot week from now when the Islanders could be in the playoff hunt, and Chris Johnson,
A hot night.
along with Julian McKenzie, will be live next Friday at Boston Pizza. I was on my mom's radio show this morning and gave it a plug.
too. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I actually gave the Coburg show a plug because one of the listeners was calling in from Coburg. And I was like, we're doing a live show there next week. And Mom's like, what are you doing? Where's it going to be? And then
Love that.
yeah, thank you, Marilyn. A shout out to Chris Johnson and Julie McKenzie and to you who've already bought tickets. Doors open at 5, live show at 6, meet and greet 7, and there's plenty of awesome things to do at Boston Pizza Coburg. This is celebrating their 300th episode, and it's also in CJ's hometown, which he talks about often and loves very much.
The one thing I didn't understand is why was CJ so enthusiastic about inviting Cougars?
The Coburg Cougars.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
See?
I understand. It's
You
the
see?
hockey club. I
Yeah,
get it.
you know,
Okay.
So yeah, very excited for these guys to do that show. And let's talk a little bit about the Leafs. Let's start with what you were going to say about Nick Robertson. why you, Jesse, don't believe that it's as... Was it you that said it's not as likely now?
I think him and Doby looked really good last night. And I know Steve loves his Nick Robertson after a healthy scratching. But if that's the Nick Robertson we can get all the time when he's playing consistently, it was good. It was good. It's good stuff.
Domi,
Lorentz, and Robertson. It was a good little line.
It was. Yeah. It was.
I like Lorentz getting a bump there. I was actually thinking about suggesting it, and then Berube did it anyway. And we're two peas in a pod, me and Craig. But I laughed out loud. Like I turned around, slapped my knee, couldn't believe it, could absolutely believe it. Of course, he scored first. And the game sort of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
That was the most weeknight Leafs versus Hurricanes game I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Quintessential.
We had Matthews at a -6, Marner at a -6, and Nyes at a -5. Now,
they all had a point.
Plus minus wise, by the way, a lot of people didn't realize this. Plus minus does not count on the power play or shorthanded. So that's how they can be -6 and have a point.
Well, no, that's impossible, though, because the Hurricanes only had 6 goals. So I think if you're on the power play and a shorthanded goal is scored against, that's a minus. It has to be.
Maybe. I think it doesn't count on...
Well, I think...
What is the conversation?
Well, because
how plus minus is counted.
So they had a point. I actually didn't know this. I don't know that. If I assumed that plus minus just was null and void on the power play.
No. If you get a shorthanded goal scored on you while you're on the ice for a power play, that's a minus.
Okay, but Carolina only had 6 goals. Matthews had a goal, and he's still a -6.
On the power play, your power play goals don't count. Shorthanded goals are a minus.
Oh,
yeah. Because so his power play goal didn't add a plus, but the shorthanded added a minus.
I get it.
So that's why he's a minus.
Damn, still bad.
Talked about that in the LFR because they're like, well, the power play's 1 for 1 tonight, and I'm like, wrong, incorrect.
1 and 1.
Yeah.
1 win, 1 loss.
They are 1 for 1 with a goal differential of nothing.
Yeah.
Also, that's not a successful power play. If you got scored on, it's not successful.
That little conversation we have, plus minus, meaningless.
Stupid. But that first line was pretty bad last night.
Yes. Holy hot shit.
And I have to say,
5 and 6.
Didn't love Riley Tanev.
No, well, neither did Berube. He broke them up so fast.
If I'm not mistaken, he was breaking, and I did the stream, but I was like, are these bad shifts, or did Marner and Matthews get split up in the third? And I think they did for a little bit.
Well, I mean, you get out the blender when you're losing. For everyone blowing up my mentions and DMs, I'm ready to have the Riley talk.
Are you?
Yeah. I know they won 5 straight coming into this game. That's why I'm not completely losing my mind.
Yeah.
It was a bad loss, but, at the end of the day, you're not going to win every single friggin' game. Boy, he looks bad.
But is this Mason Raymond syndrome?
No.
First place division.
No.
And player capable of a lot more. The thing about Riley is, yes, he's bad, or he's been bad, but he's capable of a lot more, which is why it stands out.
Yes.
Mason Raymond was a middle 6 guy at his best.
Yeah. Riley makes 7.5 sheets.
Yeah.
That guy isn't on your shutdown pair when your team's healthy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's not shutting things down. That's fine. Is he on your top power play? Oh, I bet it's humming then.
Well, no, he's not, because they don't have any defensemen on their power play.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're so bad at defense on their power play.
What's going on? Oh, I bet he logs the most minutes on the team.
He doesn't.
Oh, he was 4th amongst D.
Is this...
This is bad.
Is this a player that fit into the last system who is struggling to fit into the new one? Because Timothy Liljegren, who was a top 4 defenseman all last year, or a good chunk of last year, because they had terrible depth, but let's be...
Fair.
Found himself 8th on that list.
It's an interesting question. I think, listen, Riley is the common denominator. He is. But his most stable defense partner this year has been Philippe Myers. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And they're trying some new things because Jake McCabe is out. But the fact that they changed up the pairings to start last game despite coming off of 5 straight wins, I know they didn't look great against Philly, to me suggests they're looking for ways to insulate this guy. I don't think he's at 100%. I don't think he's at 90%. And last night they split him up with Tanev because they had to prioritize getting the game back. And they didn't find him his minutes elsewhere. Where was he going to get them? On the PK?
So what
Are they going to get him the minutes on the power play?
I think the question though is he bad now or is he bad for good?
No, I
Like, what do you do?
I refuse to say he's bad for good because we've
Right.
seen too many instances of him being good for bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We've seen too many instances of him being good, but something's wrong.
Jesse, what do you think? You're
I
close
think-
to the team.
I think I'm not close.
You're a
I'm
close
around
source. You
them.
know these guys. You hang out on the weekend.
You talk to Riley on a daily basis.
Yeah.
No, when
Yours kid's godfather.
Riley also the super quiet guy, like very.
He is.
Yes.
very quiet.
Dry sense of humor.
Yeah, yeah.
Quinn Hughes-ish
Is he? Yeah, I don't know. I've never spoken to Quinn Hughes.
in terms of their energy. A little bit.
I think in the end, Riley's gonna be fine. I liked what Frankie Corrado was talking about the power play during the intermission panel, where he's like, "You're paying these guys to quarterback these power plays. Like they get this money for a reason, and they've been doing it their whole careers. And there's a role for them on the power play. I wonder if throwing him there just through thick and thin, even if it's not working at the moment, just letting it have a bit of run can help him in his game. You know, because 5-on-5, it's clearly they're trying to figure out what's going on there. But if you can add the power play element to it and not run out 5 forwards and Mitch Marner's back there doing dipsy doodle spins and getting a goal,
Him and
getting a
Willie.
shorthanded goal.
Him and Willie on that Jordan
Like,
Stahl goal,
not
man.
great.
Bad.
Maybe it'll be advantageous just to have Morgan Riley in that position. And I know OEL was successful in it for a little bit there, and then it just went to shit. But I feel like we need something to get his game going because I don't think he's a bad defenseman. It's just not working right now.
Almost any of those guys can run a power play. We've seen Jake McCabe do it. We know OEL can do it. Connor Timmins can do it. I would bet on Philippe Myers being able to do it. Like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, I'd be worried about personnel if the power play was good at all.
Yeah. So I think like
Barely middle of the pack.
if Morgan's struggling and you need some way to get him motivated and throw him a bone, I don't see why you can't have him on the power play when the power play is not working. And I think one defenseman, 4 forwards is probably the way to go with this team.
Well, sure felt that way on that power play last night. Now the Leafs
did score.
They did score later. The Leafs,
No, on the same power play.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like later in the power play, they managed it, and it was great. But that happened after the Leafs had gone up and had a really good first period, gone up 2-0, and then over the course of 17 seconds saw that erased. They were good in the first.
Really good first half of the first period.
Sure, they were very good, and then it was like, oh boy, this is terrible.
I was watching the game with a buddy, and he said, God, Carolina looks so flat. And like Willie, 3 breakaways in 9 minutes is insane. And he didn't get a breakaway off the opening faceoff, so it was 3 breakaways in less than that. And Rod the Bod, baby. Rod the Bod. Whatever wasn't working in those first 9 minutes, he went whoop and just changed it. And the Leafs were never really in it.
Not after that. And when the 5th goal goes in the 3rd period, it's like, well, this is the Carolina Hurricanes, so this is probably over.
You let one of the oldest players in the NHL just run your show. He scored 3/8 of his goals on the season. Did you see, Adam, how much did you like LFR last night?
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I'm joking.
I was working this morning.
I know it's too much turnaround. But Jordan Stahl has, I think it's 695 career points, something along those lines, in nearly 1,300 games. Mm-hmm. He's a career just over half a point a game player. Against the Leafs in his career, he's played 25 games. How many points he's got? 25 career games. He's a half a point a game player over his career.
I have no idea.
Guess. 25 games.
I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't even know how to guess that.
Choose a number.
Okay,
between
12.
1 and 1,000.
12.
12. You think he has 12?
What's
Jesse,
the answer?
37.
Wow, really?
30. He scores at nearly 1.5 points per game clip.
Really?
Against the Leafs over his career, dating back to 2006.
Just
when he
has-
was with
has
the
their
Penguins. He is such an underrated Leaf killer. Like I was saying yesterday, like, okay, yeah, Sidney Crosby. We're worried about Sidney Crosby. Leaf fans are afraid of Evgeny Malkin because he kills them. He kills the team every time. Jordan Staal over his entire career, it's free cookie night
Wow.
against the Leafs. Don't know what it is, and it hasn't expired. Has it? Who knows? Like, he might be able to ride this game for the rest of his season. And the Hurricanes all of a sudden overtake Washington and win the division. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is one of the oldest players in the league, and he bullied the some of the most expensive players in the league.
So let me ask you this, guys. That the 2 games against Philly were not great. There were moments, but they were not great. They had bad periods in there.
It's a good league.
It's a good league. This is the Carolina Hurricanes are a good team in this
very
good
good
league. Is there anything to deduce from this, or was this just a loss and it happens?
I want to see them more consistently have solid efforts against good opponents. Like I want to say it was their last game against Washington. Like, did they beat Florida earlier this year? I can't remember. It's tricky. Like, when you're leading your division or in the conversation with which the Leafs have been basically all year.
Yep.
That's what you start to measure against.
Yep.
Right? There's 82 games. So many games. We've talked about it 1,000 times, and you can't just be like, well, we'll see how they do in the playoffs every single game. That's no way to get through 82 friggin' games. I'm not going to say that 82 friggin' times. So I'm going to look at the schedule, and I'm going to go, okay, let's measure ourselves against these guys. It's something I think the Panthers do really well, or at least they were doing it really well earlier in the season. Even when they were struggling, they're like, all right, we got Boston tonight. And they'd kill them.
Right.
And they're struggling. All right, we got the Leafs tonight. And they kill them. You know? It's something the best teams do. And the Leafs do struggle with it at times. So I got my eye on it. I will say this, and I said this in the LFR as well. They have to kick Vancouver's ass on Saturday. And I think they will. If they're worth believing in, which so far this season they've given us reason to believe they're worth believing in, they should kick Vancouver's ass. This is a team that's kind of in free fall. They're injured. They're sick. They're on the road. 3 games in 4 nights, and you're the 3rd game. 4 nights, second half of a back-to-back in your barn hockey night in Canada. You should kill them. You should. You're a good team, aren't you? Kick their ass. I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm serious. They should kick their ass. And if they don't, then I'm going to be a lot more concerned.
I'm feeling like Joseph Woll didn't have the sharpest night last night. Although I don't give him hell for the first 3 goals, but like the goal at the beginning of the 3rd period, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he could have used a save there. Is it possible that this is a guy that hasn't played more than like 30 games in a year?
He hasn't carried the water like this.
Yeah, and is it possible that maybe it's not physical burnout, it's a little mental burnout, and they maybe need to give him a break?
I think it's
do we know anything, Jesse, about Anthony Stolarz and when he's going to be back? Because I've heard not a crickets on that.
Yeah, they haven't said much yet.
No, Stolarz isn't projected to be back until at least the end of January.
Okay.
That's when the timeline was.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it'll be next couple of weeks you should hear some sort of update, but yeah, he's not projected since he's been out to be back till like a week or 2 from now. 2 weeks, I guess, still. Yeah. But with Woll, like there's a good case here to just give him a little bit of time here. I think it was Josh Clokey who wrote in The Athletic. Yeah, he had the article this morning about how like, okay, this is unprecedented territory for Joseph Woll. You got Hildeby, you got Matt Murray. Let's not have this guy play 60 games like he's prime Brodeur.
Right.
You know,
right.
He's never done this before, and we're all waiting for Stolarz to come back. But in the meantime, let's give him some time here to get adjusted, not play every game. And I think there's a great case for that, just seeing how things went last night, that this workload might be a little much.
So they do have to get creative there because, second half of a back-to-back, you throw your backup in there. That's easy. And the Leafs had 5 straight weeks where they're like, well, we know our backup goalie is going to play 1 game this week. Mm-hmm. They don't have any back-to-backs anymore. That sort of trend is over. I don't think they have another one until February or something like that. But they don't have any for the rest of the month. So where does Hildeby and or Murray get in? By the way, okay, maybe you know the answer to this. Murray was the backup. He's not anymore.
No, Hildeby's the backup. Yeah.
Yeah, why?
They sent Murray down.
Why?
I don't think he's very good.
Well, I know that.
I think Hildeby's better.
Was it purely that?
Hildeby's better than Murray right now. I
He
think
is
it's how
straight
the
up
organization
He is.
looks at him, which he is.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I think it's that simple.
But like, you got to find. There's not a lot of places to hide.
I think
in
like
this
last
schedule.
night should have been a place I think Hildeby plays.
Oh,
if,
yeah?
If Vancouver game is the important one, if you're looking at that as like a win on the schedule, like play Wool that game fresh.
Well, I'm not looking at it as a win on the schedule. I'm looking at it as the Leafs have every tactical advantage imaginable. Honestly, you could play Hildeby that game. He might get lit up.
Yep.
But like, you're playing a tired, injured, sick, fatigued road team in your barn. Yeah, that should be an opportunity for your backup to succeed.
Sure.
It should be an opportunity for everyone to succeed.
Yeah, I think they need to be a little bit more strategic about using Hildeby. I don't think he's gonna cost them games. I don't think his goaltending is Georgiev level, where you're afraid to put him in the net. He's a competent backup, and Wool's never been in this position. Use your backup goaltender.
I will say I know the Sharks are very confident that they can rebuild Georgiev, and they're very proud of what they did with Mackenzie Blackwood. I was going to say what they've done. Not quite what they've done on account of he's on Colorado now, but
Playing fantastic with Colorado.
They acquired him for a 6th-round pick. They built him up, and then they traded him for more. That's success. If you play Hildeby Saturday, you can get Wool 4 days off because they have 2 days off after Vancouver and then Dallas at home. You have a 3-game homestand here. There's a really good chance to get Wool some rest. I'm kind of on the side of play Hildeby Saturday, actually.
Now, the other side of that would be, hey, listen, Joseph Woll, you want to sign that extension and make your $4 million starting next season, which he is.
Oh, he already did it.
He already did it, but like...
Time to quit.
Yeah, man, sorry.
About your money.
Sometimes
out.
Sometimes you get tired, and you'll get tired in the playoffs. Pull it together anyway.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
At some point, you do need to learn it. It's like, remember Matthew Nyes as a rookie? And they're like, well, the college schedule, and he's never played this many games. And so what did they do? Rest him?
No, they played him 80 games.
No, you have to it's the only way to build your endurance. You got to figure it out, right? I'm not saying give Wool, tell him to go to Cancun or whatever. I'm saying like get him a rest here, have him play against Dallas, and then you reevaluate from there.
Okay.
There's not a lot of there's some real good teams coming up. Vancouver, I think, is this weird sleeping giant, but they're reeling right now. Dallas is next. They're pretty good.
Killers.
New Jersey is next.
Killers.
They're pretty good. Montreal is
Really good right now.
playing very important games for them. Every single game is important. Tampa wants to kill you. Columbus needs these points really bad, and they've sort of weirdly had your number. Ottawa has really had your number. Minnesota has been great. That's the whole rest of January. There's nowhere to hide. It's a good league. Good league.
Yeah.
Well,
And Hildeby has to play at least 2 of those games.
as far as the Carolina Hurricanes are concerned, by the
No,
way.
just one thing.
sorry.
One thing from Josh on Wool's starts. He started 5 of the last Leafs 6 games. That's 5 starts in 10 days.
That's a lot.
And this is the guy you brought in, you signed this year to be in a tandem role.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to split 41 and 41 with his other guy Stallers, and playing 5 in 10 games. 10 games is a lot, and I think Berube's shown that. Even last night when he gives Pacioretty the night off, I was like, what is Pacioretty doing out of the
surprised by
lineup?
that. Yeah.
But if he's willing to do that with his forward group, his skaters, think about that like your goaltending. Why not use Hildeby in this role? So that was the last thing I just wanted to throw out there from Josh.
Boy, Holmberg, buddy, I'm cheering for you, but that was so much nothing.
So he
That was
doesn't
an
have
abundance of nothing.
He doesn't have the Nick Robertson shot out of a cannon after being scratched thing.
Robertson, you take with the good with the bad.
Okay.
And Pontus Holmberg has the unique ability to be white noise. Like just
He got a shot.
he sure did.
he?
It was a rebound.
He had one nice move where I was like, oh fuck if that went in.
That fourth line had some good offensive pressure at certain times. Like, I thought last night the two best lines were the third and fourth line.
Yeah, Berube's trying shit. He's trying. The third line was the only plus.
Oh, man.
Dude,
And they're supposed to be high event.
yeah, I know. It was not a great game.
I think Domi compliments Robertson so much because Domi's all pass and Robertson's all shoot.
Yeah, but they need a babysitter.
But they need somebody to keep them in check.
And
Lorentz was good.
McMahon is playing too well to be their babysitter, so they bumped him up. So now Lorentz fills in on that third line. But what's weird about that is it kind of now where does Max fit in?
Mm-hmm.
It's odd, right? It's a little bit of a I don't know what you do going forward. Like, who plays Saturday? You got Max's night off. All right. Okay, so you get him back in the lineup. Where?
Mm-hmm.
You take Robertson out? He just scored.
Yeah.
He played well. What are we
But
doing?
then you want the Robertson bump, so you take him out.
Yeah, I know. What if I think Robertson, if he played 41 games, might get 41
goals. Yeah. On the Lorentz thing, Gord Miller said on the broadcast his dad says their last name is Lawrence.
Yes.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it is. They said that at the beginning of the season too. They mentioned that one of the games, and they're like, "Yeah, they pronounce it Lawrence," but they said he understands that everybody calls him Lorentz.
I asked the fucking guy.
Yeah,
and
so
sorry.
So they just accept it.
Yeah, they're cool with it. It's like Tavares and Tavares.
Right. And then the other one was Fedotov. Fedotov. We've been calling him Fedotov.
Yeah,
for
because we
years.
anglicize it. That's just how we've always done it.
But then they're sitting there all broadcast calling Fedotov, and I'm like, we've been saying
Yeah,
it wrong.
here's my
Russian
thing.
is emphasis on the second syllable.
So should
very
we be
often.
saying it that way?
Here's what bothers me.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna get into this. We can't take every language and pronounce it the way that they would in their language. You know what I'm saying? Like Koivu, Finnish. Finnish is as different from English as you can get.
Yeah.
It's like Finland is Suomi. That's how you pronounce it.
Suomi.
Suomi. Like, what?
Or you might be right.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
So if we anglicize the pronunciation of Fedotov or Fedotov or Caberlet or Kaburla is how they used to say it. That's literally how Harry Neal used to say it. Well, there's the Kaburla. Because it's like, dude, just pick one and that's the one.
They also guess.
Like Fedorov? Fedorov.
Fedorov.
Do you think he minds? I don't think he minds.
Is it? I know the hardcores know this story, but there's a lot of new listeners. Should I retell the Kuhlman story?
Sure.
So when I was in school, there were older students in my program who had jobs already while they were going to school for radio and television arts. And there was one guy named John who worked at CBC cutting highlights, and he got to see the backhaul feed. Maddie knows all about this. He got to see the backhaul feed, and he got to hear people warming up before the broadcast. Ron McLean, famously, he overheard a conversation when Kuhlman was a rookie. And I got to see this in person when I eventually got a job at CBC. Bob Cole would check the pronunciation of every player's name with Ron McLean.
Okay.
And he'd be like, Gorobovsky. And Ron would go, yep. And he goes, okay, good, because I asked him. And MacArthur. Yep, no, that's right. Okay, good, because I asked him. And he went through the entire roster, and at the end of it, it was because I asked him. Mm-hmm. And John told this great story. I don't know who Bob Cole was talking to. Mm-hmm. Everyone was calling him Kuhlman. Yeah. Nikolai Kuhlman, this new kid Kuhlman.
Yep.
Kuhlman. And John didn't overhear the first part of the conversation, but all he overheard was, listen, I asked the fucking guy, and he said his name was Kuhlman. Because he was getting criticized because he was calling him Kuhlman.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Which, again, emphasis on the second syllable, Russian, that checks out.
Abruzizi.
And I asked the fucking guy. Mm-hmm. But everyone's like, nope, it's Kuhlman. It's Kuhlman forever. Too bad.
I don't know. So I feel like sometimes we go a little overboard. Are we anglicizing or are we not anglicizing?
Sure. But I'm someone who I can't pronounce any name ever.
No, me neither.
Pronouncing names is like my Achilles heel. So when I hear somebody say a name differently, I'm like, oh, I should probably say that right because I probably have been saying it wrong the entire time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to change to Fedotov.
So do you remember we had Gord Miller on Agent Provocateur last season, I think it was.
It was fantastic.
And he was great. And he was talking about all of the enunciation hurdles that he has to jump through
Because I asked him.
for the World Juniors.
That was, yeah.
And it's crazy. You should go back and watch it. It's crazy. Like, he kind of goes through and he knows, like, in Latvia, this is how they pronounce their vowels. And in this country, this is how they do it.
I feel like
And
that's a guy who's good at his job.
yeah, so he's probably right about Fedotov. It's still Fedotov to me, though. All right, Gord? All right? You go be talented somewhere else.
I try to take the cues from the guy who knows all of these languages.
Yes.
'Cause he's doing the hard work there.
And Gord is that guy.
And Gordon is that guy.
But you know what, Gord?
What?
Stop it. All right? Stop it. It's just stop it. Yes, Maddie. Oh, we need a mic here.
Matty Mike.
I understand where you guys are coming from, but I also think that, like, if you are calling these games, those are the people that need to be the most worried.
Yes.
I'm sitting
You
here
need to get it
on mic,
right
too.
if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in front of
Oh.
mics talking about guys.
Maddie, you wouldn't believe how much crap I catch for mispronouncing so many names. And
Adam's calling games too. He streamed a game yesterday.
that's right.
Yeah, you're literally calling.
Yeah, and I said Fedotov, and they're like, actually, Adam, it's Kochekov. So anyway.
What's wrong?
Jesse, I just texted you something. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I was trying to signal with my hands. When I was doing KHL highlights, 2012-13 season, I used to dread having to do Dynamo Riga games because they would take 2-3 times as long to call or to do the highlights for. Because I tried to do the highlight. I would write the script and I would try to do it in one shot. Impossible. And I wanted to bring up the roster because I wanted to see you guys pronounce any of these
No.
fucking names.
No. There's no way.
Martin's.
I don't
Parsons.
speak Russian.
Paul. Well, a lot
It's
of
not
these-
Russian. It's
that's
Latvian.
Oh, sorry, Latvian. KHL, I just assumed it was
Mix
Russian.
Indrasis.
Miks Indrushis.
Christianis. What is it? Redhees. I don't even know. That's
Christian. I don't even remember that guy.
I'm looking at
Oh,
other-
Jamie Johnson.
Jamie
I got
Johnson
one.
from London, Ontario.
one.
now. I know Kaspar's Dogevans.
Kaspars Dugavinch.
Guntis Galvins
Guntis Galvin.
and Gins Meja or Meja.
Maya.
Maya.
Rob Schremp.
Rob Schremp.
Matthew
Don't you-
Carl.
Jakobs Red. Oh, there's two red heels. Red heels.
I think there
Red
were.
heels.
I think there was a pair of brothers on the team, and that
Okay.
would also trip me up.
Well, there's Kristers Krslevskers, which is my favorite Latvian
Yeah.
name of all time. Maris Uchers.
Dude, this team used to give me nightmares.
Do you have to do it with the accent?
Yes.
I don't think you do.
I'm sorry, Jesse. I'm trying not to anglicize the
I know.
name. Fedotov.
We were
Fedotov,
doing
Fedotov.
videos for the KHL YouTube channel, so yeah, they wanted us to get it right.
Wow.
And
Oh yeah. No, I'm asking Adam right now.
No, I have to.
oh.
I remember when we did back in the day, and this is a long time ago.
Adam
the last
says
time the
Mexico.
NHL was at the Olympics.
does
Adam's
Adam
the type
say
of guy to say Mexico.
Mexico.
No.
Thank you, senor. Anyway.
Do you like burritos?
Dos
Adam?
cervezas, por favor.
Oh no.
No. I remember we went through. Austria played in the last Olympics, in the Sochi Olympics, and we went through the list of the Austrian names and tried to pronounce them all properly.
And it's
in German.
It's not them. We're hopeless.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Terrible. It's not their fault. Definitely ours.
I always say this. Like, I was talking to a Swedish person once, like, who wasn't a hockey fan, but they're like, "Oh yeah, I know all about Peter Forsberg."
Forsberg. Yeah.
No, Forsberg.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Really? Because
That's how you say it.
Do you remember Tovlo? Do you remember Tovlo?
Is that talking body?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're talking bodies. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You
So we
got
had her
it.
in, and she's from Sweden, and was like, "Hey, so like,
She is?
yeah, random question. I'm like, do you know any Swedish hockey players?" And she's like, "Well, I know Peter Forsberg."
That's her English.
yeah, her
Canadian,
anglicizing
whatever.
it for me. Yeah, but yeah, she did know.
Forsberg, Zetterberg.
Really? It's Beria?
Yep.
Wow. That's great.
There is not a country we don't butcher. Matty Mike.
So then what are we doing? It's Fedotov.
is this about
What?
Tovlo?
Yeah, what I thought you were going with that is most people don't know, but her name is pronounced Tuvelu,
Yeah, she's
Damn it!
she
not
told me that.
Tovlo.
Yeah, she told me that on the thing too.
Yeah.
Tuvelu.
Tuvelu?
Yeah.
And we're like, Tovlo. We are the least sexy culture in the face of
German.
the planet.
German. German exists.
Yeah, that's his fail.
Yeah. Look up how do they say butterfly in German? It's butterfly in German. It's the craziest. Schmetterling. It's Schmetterling.
believe that. That's
Like,
fine. That's
here,
not
hold
that
on, hold on,
crazy.
see if I
Here,
hold it up.
no, play it on the thing.
Ready?
You're so old.
What is happening?
Schmetterling.
Schmetterling. That's
Oh,
not
look at
as
the Schmetterling.
that's not as ugly as I thought it was.
Oh,
No, that
there's
was okay.
some German words, man.
Fly covers in butter.
That's why Germans are so good at heavy metal, because the language lends it. Ooh, you know, du hast. You know,
Du Hast is a great song.
it's a fucking awesome song. It's so great. Hey, this show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, new year, fresh start. Doesn't have to be like a resolution, like I will do this. But what if you just took a new direction and tried something new, or went back to something that maybe didn't or did work for you in the past? Sometimes we take breaks from therapy. We've gone before. Sometimes we loved it.
Holidays
Sometimes
get
we didn't.
busy. You kind of take that off the schedule.
Yes.
Life gets busy.
Life gets busy. And if you're feeling like, hey, you know what? I could use someone to talk to, an objective point of view. The great thing about BetterHelp is it works around your schedule. And if you don't vibe with your therapist, you can rematch with another therapist free of charge. And it's, again, like I said, 24/7. Whatever works in your schedule and whatever works for communication. We're talking FaceTime, we're talking text, we're talking phone calls, whatever it is, BetterHelp's got it for you. And we want you to give it a try. Visit BetterHelp.com/SCP to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/SDP. 10% off your first month. Hey, so I want to ask you guys about something that's been bothering me. And it has to do with foreign nations. And I will admit that my anxiety is up because of Hockey Canada's decisions during the World Juniors. And I understand that this managerial group for Hockey Canada, representing Canada at the Four Nations, is, made up of NHL general managers. But I was promised, okay, and they did say this, that the best players who were performing the best around the time the roster was announced would go. Okay? Now, I just want to run you through the fact that John Tavares is not in that lineup. And I'm upset about that. But the thing that upsets me more is a young man named Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson was traded for a third-round pick during an autograph session at the draft floor last year.
Yeah, 2 third-round picks.
Oh, sorry.
How
2
dare
third-round
you?
picks. Washington stole Logan Thompson.
Yes.
Because Aiden Hill, who is the starter in Vegas, is not as good this year. And Logan Thompson, who has 17 wins in 21 games and a .919 save percentage,
Holy shit.
is not going. And let me compare and contrast, not just Aiden Hill. Let's talk about Jordan Binnington. 11 wins in 30 games this year.
Yeah,
He has an .896 save percentage.
he played for Hockey Canada, so
Sam Montembeault, 32 games this year, .898 save percentage. And here's the thing that really, to me, is the most stinging indictment of all this, is Montembeault's played 176 games. I didn't realize it was that many. It's a lot of games.
he played for Florida.
.898 is his career save percentage. He's coming up on 200 games, which is where you get your pension. This is who this player is.
Bam.
Everybody's like, man, you don't even know about Montembeault. He's crazy.
He has good games. He has very good games.
And he has .898 games more often.
Right.
Jordan Binnington, career save percentage. He's played 310 games, .907. But he's not really hitting that very often anymore. He hit it last year, but the year before was pretty bad. And the year before that was pretty bad.
Adam,
And this year's pretty bad.
as long as we're having the conversation, what do you know about December 3rd?
Hang on.
No.
Last one. Aiden Hill
Okay.
has been on a steady decline since the Vegas Golden Knights won the cup. 915, 909, now 903.
Now, I will say for Aiden Hill, he started the season dog shit.
If you
and
take
he
out-
and he leveled off.
If you take out his first 4 games of the year, the save percentage goes to the roof.
Okay.
yeah. He's been good.
So
he's good.
So Aiden Hill belongs.
He's the starter.
I'll give you Jordan Binnington because Doug Armstrong is the general manager and he's won a cup. That's how they'd look at it. Or he's the assistant general manager? Or is he the lead guy?
I think he's the lead.
It's him and Dubas and some other people. Logan Thompson not being there was bad in December is way worse now.
Yeah.
Don
Way
Sweeney
worse.
is the GM, by the way.
Oh, that's your biggest problem.
Maybe
That is the problem. I would fire Sweeney.
Well, you know what? The final is in Boston. If Canadians want to join Bostonians in that chant.
We might have to. We might not be there. We might not need to go.
Yo. What if the Bruins completely free fall before the Four Nation face-off and he's fired before the tournament, and then he has to go back to Boston. It's not going to happen, but fuck.
What a story.
It'd be awesome.
It's Sweeney, and then his assistants are Jim Nill and Julian Breezewell.
Oh.
Doug Armstrong is the management group lead, and Kyle Dubas is director of player personnel.
Right. Which means they're all GMs.
That sounds like a lot of here's a title for you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's you get the smartest people in the room and you give them their titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have some sort of hierarchy there. So
Fine.
I understand the roles.
That's okay.
But they got a good collection of dudes.
They do.
Well,
except for they left the best of the collection of dudes at home. Oh, you mean the general?
I mean the management. Maybe Don Sweeney. Like we can
Well,
split
Don
hairs
Sweeney's-
about that.
I'm calling that into question.
Yes, we can split hairs about Don Sweeney being having the GM title on this team based on what he's been doing lately.
But when he was named that, they had come off a record-breaking season,
Sure,
right? And I get that.
totally.
I'll give them that.
Yeah, and then now look at the roster.
It's listen. This Team Canada could win. They should be able to win any tournament they're in. That's the thing. But my whole thing about Team Canada and cheering for it, and this is what I got from a bunch of people that push back on some of our World Junior stuff. People were like, well, it shouldn't matter what players Canada brings because the pool's so deep that they should win anyway.
That is
a legitimate
Listen.
legitimate
I want to have a respectful
argument.
conversation. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
What are you talking about?
My thing.
What does that mean?
This is a crazy idea. My thing is to give us, despite the deep talent pool, the best chance. The best chance to win. And what I see here is some guys who did not follow through on their promise to bring the best performing players. Tavares, I think, was robbed. He should be on that team.
Mark Scheifele.
I'd make an argument for Chris Tanev. I understand why he was left off.
Yeah, that's
Monster season. But just to prove that I'm not Leaf biased, how do you not have a goalie who's 17 wins in 21 games?
How about this? What is significant about December 3rd?
It's
December
the
3rd,
RFA deadline.
Is it?
Oh, it's like December 2nd.
Oh,
December
yeah.
3rd.
No, it's December 1st.
Okay.
No, it is the last time Sam Bennett got a goal. I think 15 games ago.
Wow. But how many people has he injured since? That's the key.
Oh,
with Sam
probably
Bennett.
4 or 5.
The injuries per 60 are very key.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5. That guy's on Team Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Deserved it.
Absolutely.
Honestly, like we had a discussion earlier this season about like he looked great on the Leafs. How much money is he going to get this summer? Holy shit.
He's spending it now
He's spending a shitload. Now he makes his money
in the playoffs.
in the playoffs. But as the regular season counts, and they tend to look at that sort of thing.
And they said that's how they were going to judge.
Dude, wait, let me bring
Listen, guys, Jesse,
Yeah,
Steve,
Sure.
if I had said to you guys before this season started, guys, Tom Wilson is a lock to make Team Canada,
I would have been surprised.
you'd have laughed me out of the room.
Yeah.
But you know what Tom Wilson did? He came out and he played great. And they're
With
like,
a bubble on.
with a bubble on. But he played great. And there's not a lot of Tom Wilsons in the league. And Team Canada's like, you know what? We promised that we would pick the best performing forward, so we're bringing Tom Wilson.
Well,
But they just didn't follow through on it with the rest of the roster.
Or you could have
specifically in goal.
You could have a guy who doesn't have a goal since December 3rd or an assist since December 16th. He doesn't have a point for against St. Louis, no. Against Tampa, no. Against Tampa again, no. Against Montreal, no. Against the Rangers, no. Against the Hurricanes, no. Against the Penguins, no. Against Colorado, no. Against Utah, no.
Wait, Tom Wilson's not on the team.
On Team Canada?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
No. Tom Wilson didn't make the team.
He maybe should be.
Well, maybe he should be, damn it. I thought he was.
No.
All right, well.
Tom Wilson didn't make the team.
No, okay.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of it is pretty good. The rest of it, I don't mind. But the goaltending was the biggest issue. And that's the part that bothers me.
How about Sam Bennett hasn't been a plus since December 7th?
Wow.
Dude, this guy's been brutal.
He's putting up Josh Anderson numbers. Like that's crazy.
This is such a good player, and he's such an important part of Florida's team.
Could be injured.
Yeah, he could be, because he's been awful.
Of the forward group, are there any names that stand out to you that you would relitigate, like Konechny? Sam Bennett,
I love
Konechny. Yeah, I think he makes the team. So it's like, okay, if we want somebody like Tavares on, I guess Bennett's your guy you're taking off.
Probably now.
Yeah.
And Tavares was playing well enough at the time that I know he had a bad couple of weeks in October, but then he was like on a monster streak. So I don't feel like this is like some late bloomer thing.
Anybody else in your eyes? You take off to swap?
I understand why Anthony Cirelli is there. And I think he's a great player.
Wasn't John Cooper the coach?
Yes. I understand why Anthony Cirelli's there, and he plays a role, and John Cooper needs him to play that role. I get it. But that's the name that sticks out the most to me. Because after that, you have legitimate Bennett, Cirelli, and then it's Crosby, Brandon Hagel, who is criminally still underrated. Seth Jarvis is amazing, although had a bit of a funny start.
Injury
underrated. Nathan McKinnon. Brad Marchand has fallen off a little bit.
Marchand's
Mitch
been
Marner,
butt.
Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, Mark Stone. And of course, Brad Marchand is going because Don Sweeney's his general manager. He's going. Of course he's going. And you know what?
Well, and he deserves it.
Do you want Brad Marchand not to be there? Because I don't. I want him there.
No. Brad Marchand should be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now on defense, this is where I can't really what do you Makar, Morrissey, Parayko, Pietrangelo, Sanheim, Theodore, and Tays. Pretty hard to get mad at that.
It's wild that Canada could be sending a goalie trio of Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson, and who the hell's buddy in Seattle? Why am I blanking?
Decord.
Thank you, Joey Decord.
But he couldn't get his passport.
I know,
His
but
passport
like,
in time.
God, that looks way better than what they have.
He doesn't qualify. Doesn't he not qualify for the international for the Olympics based on their criteria?
He's like Tom Hanks in The Terminal. Like he has no country. Like it's really weird. He's from Krakosia. He can play hockey for Krakosia.
All right.
He's a Canadian American from Switzerland, from everywhere, from Australia. He's Australian. I don't know. I'm just saying, yes, you pick the guys who are the hottest right now, and a few of these guys got named to Team Canada and immediately fell off.
Yeah, and that happens.
It does
and you know
happen.
What? Here's what's great. They'll play the tournament, and they might play great.
Yeah, this isn't like a dump on Sam Bennett fest for me.
No.
I'm
not even dumping on the goalies they picked. I thought Montembeault was weird when his name was brought up at the beginning of the season. I was like, this is weird. And then they were like, we're sticking to it, despite the evidence. Logan Thompson was good in Vegas too, man. Right? Like, it wasn't like this came out of nowhere. And what's weird to me is Vegas could have had Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson.
But I
could have kept him.
I think like Charlie Lindgren was so good last year.
Yeah.
And Thompson got traded out of Vegas. I think the thinking was, okay, so we're going to bring Washington's backup. Meh.
Right.
We didn't know he was going to then take a very good goaltender's job, which is what he did. Charlie Lindgren's good.
He is very good.
And he stole that job right from...
Well, I don't even know.
his
Maybe
hands.
they're just a tandem. Right? That happens in the NHL. They've played... Charlie Lindgren's played 10 games.
Okay. Well,
or 20 games.
Well, one of them's basically undefeated.
Yeah.
Do you know who leads the NHL in save percentage amongst Canadian goaltenders?
That's a really good question.
Amongst Canadian...
Are we counting Joey Decord?
No.
Okay.
Let's not.
Because he's an American and
do that.
Canadian. It's not Logan Thompson?
It's not?
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh.
I believe is the correct. Let me triple.
And the Wild are on a tear.
Oh no, it's sorting by single season.
Oh, boo hiss.
Individual
You
season.
stink. You
Save
stink.
percent. Oh, here we go. Mackenzie Blackwood.
Wow.
Another guy who could definitely be on the...
There you go. In 29 games played, he's got a 919. Louis Domingue technically is in first in one game played, 926.
Knock it off.
Blackwood has a 919. Logan Thompson also had a 919, but in less games. And then Darcy Kemper, 918.
Well, Blackwood, because I'm a noted Avalanche truther, he had a 911 save percentage in San Jose in 19 games. In 10 games with the Avalanche, he is 8-1-1 with a 940.
Man.
940. Yeah, he should probably be on the team.
Darcy Kemper should probably be on this team too. We're just 11-2-2.
Holy hot shit.
918, 2.23 GAA.
Jesse's only saying that because he's wearing a Kings jersey.
Yeah, let's go, Byfield.
So
Darcy
they
Kemper,
just,
unbelievable season so far.
they just sort of pick names out of a hat, huh? Like,
Ask Dubas.
No, they picked their guy. They didn't pick guy who was performing. They picked their guy. Doug, we've met. I like you, Doug Armstrong. I like you. You're awesome. You're great. You've won a cup. You're smart. Come on,
do you get to call him Doug?
Mr. Armstrong.
You could argue.
Sir.
You could argue.
I liked him a lot, by the way. He seemed like a great guy, but like this is very clearly a.
There's an
What are we doing
argument
here, Choice?
none of the 3 goaltenders Canada picked should be going.
Yeah, I think Aiden Hill deserves to.
Aiden Hill, I would bring Aiden Hill, but like you could make the argument.
You make a lot. You can make an argument at
It'd be
anything.
Kemper, Logan Thompson.
No, you can't.
There you go.
Kemper, Logan Thompson, and who? Marc-Andre Fleury. He's got a 903.
Cam Talbot.
Oh,
Matt Murray.
Matt Murray. That'd be nice. Yeah.
The collection of management and coaching is pretty cool to look at, just to see all of these guys who are amongst the best in their position around the NHL together in a room. Matt, if you want to bring up the list of people who work for the Four Nations Canada team, it's GM Don Sweeney, Jim Nill, Associate General Manager, Julian Brisebois, Assistant General Manager, Ryan Getzlaff, Player Relations Advisor, Dubas, Player Personnel, Doug Armstrong, Management Group Lead, John Cooper, Head Coach, Bruce Cassidy, Assistant, Peter DeBoer, Assistant. I don't know this individual.
Misha Donskov?
Donskov?
Where do they work?
I don't
No
know.
idea.
Rick Tockett, Assistant Coach.
Scarborough, Ontario.
So yeah, it's a great collection of some of the best talent in the league.
Rick Tockett being from Scarborough explains so much about him. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But I assume most of the Four Nations teams look like this. So
Ryan Getzlaff being on the team is interesting because he works for the league now. Like
no, that it makes even more sense.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes so
Oh, you work for the league? You want a job? You can have it.
Yeah, hey, why don't you just come over here and be a consultant?
You want a couple $100,000 a year? Do nothing?
Yeah.
Don't you wish you were part of that club a little bit?
Oh, my God. I mean,
Because then I would have to be that type of person.
Yeah, but like they don't think about it that way.
I would.
they go home and look at their bank account and go, I'm that type of guy.
You know what? Yeah.
I am that type of guy.
Damn, where do I sign up to be that type of guy?
Damn, I'm okay with. Listen, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know.
I could fake being that type of guy for that kind of money. I'll fake it all day.
Ryan gets laughing all the way to the bank.
By the way, whenever I see Kyle Dubas' name come up in anything, I just automatically assume that Jason Spezza is there and like as an intern. Like I just assume that Jason Spezza did have a hand in this, even if he didn't officially.
Jason Spezza randomly being Kyle Dubas' Dwight Schrute is the funniest thing.
Right? Right? Yeah, it's great.
Following him around with a duotang. It's great.
I like it.
God, I miss you, Jason.
He was all vibes. He was all vibes. Now,
all vibes.
we were talking about the Bruins. Let's talk some more about them. They're bad.
Cool.
They got beat up 4-1 by the by the Lightning last night, who they are fighting for positionally in the standings.
Were beaten 4-0 the game before, so maybe little finger snaps for progress. Sorry, I have to take advantage of this every time. This is such a rare position for me to be in. I don't get to make fun of the Boston Bruins. I don't get to nanny boo boo them ever. Mm-hmm. So nanny boo boo.
Negative 27 goal differential now.
Nanny brew brew.
They are
Please clap.
3-6-1 in their last 10.
Oh my God!
Compare and contrast that with, and this is what's so funny about the standings, because you can look at when you look at the last 10 games, the Columbus Blue Jackets are on fire, 7-2-1,
buddy.
And people are like, guys, you're not talking enough about the Penguins, and you're not talking enough about the Senators. Oh, you mean the Penguins who are 4-3-3, and the Sens who are 4-5-1? Wow, man, that really set the world on fire.
You gotta everyone in that Eastern wildcard picture is taking turns being the hottest team in the league.
Yes,
it's crazy.
If you want to
real
talk
battle
about somebody though, talk about the Montreal Canadiens, 8-2-0 in their last 10. That's talkable.
Unbelievable.
The Blue Jackets were so cool last night because Cole Sillinger goes out and they call up his brother to fill in for him.
Yeah.
No, they had his brother.
And the dude fucking scores and they win the game. Plus another rookie they called out. I don't want to butcher his name. He's got 4 names in there. Del Bell Belluz.
Luca Del Bell Belluz.
There you go.
Yeah.
What a great name.
I was trying to do it off the top of my head.
LDBB.
Unreal what they're doing.
Yeah.
In the Western Conference, the Colorado Avalanche, who started this year with 40 million injuries, are now 8-1-1 in their last 10. And they are still in the first wild card position.
Are we talking about the Boston Bruins?
Oh, I guess we can. I just figured we talked about them last episode, and I wanted
Yeah.
to kind of sprinkle that in.
All right.
We did break it
talked about
down.
how bad they were. They lost again.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the Boston Bruins still bad. Colorado, though,
Tight.
everybody stopped sort of paying attention. After the injuries happened, people were like, wow, Colorado stinks. And then they traded for Mackenzie Blackwood, and they got him signed to a deal, and everybody's like, oh, that's a bad signing. You don't want to pay a goalie $5 million. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10.
Yeah, their problems were strictly goaltending. Like, that's how I look at
Yeah.
that little
And
stretch
non-regulars
there.
in the lineup.
Nobody was healthy, and they couldn't get a friggin' save. Like, everybody who were there playing were under an 880 save percentage. It's not usable.
There is a weird amount of money that goalies make. Like, there's a range where it's basically a team going, I don't know, you could be good. Grubauer makes 5.9. He's terrible. Joey Decord just signed for 5. He is very good. Blackwood is good, terrible, great. Like that's how his
Vezina.
career has gone.
Yeah.
He's unusable. Vezina. It's a weird range to be in, but early returns are quite good.
Vancouver Canucks are 2-3-5 in their last 10.
They're getting. This is why I was saying Saturday, you have no excuse not to beat that team. You don't. They're completely reeling. They're gonna be exhausted. No one's having a good time right now. You have to win that game.
You can't let them have a get right against Toronto in Toronto on a Saturday night.
No,
Is it? It's in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
No,
the
you
Leafs
can't.
have every possible advantage. There's no excuse to lose that game. Petey has not been great. GT Miller's been putting up points, and he's actually scoring goals now. He was struggling to get goals for a little bit there. Lankinen continues to be your most stable goaltender. That probably shouldn't be the case. You haven't had Hronek all season. Quinn Hughes is very obviously playing hurt.
Hronek, by the way, working out in Abbotsford, so he's on his way back.
And the Capitals, the other night, you never, ever want to be... Yeah, I say this as a Leaf fan. You never want a team that is very obviously far and away the second toughest team in a game. And the Capitals punked and bullied them. Like what Pierre-Luc Dubois was able to do to Quinn Hughes is very familiar because he used to do it to Austin Matthews back when he was with Columbus.
Right.
What Vancouver allowed him to get away with, the things that happened to their captain that the Canucks let the Capitals get away with, it's so much worse than simply losing the hockey game because it was a tight game. That's just a team where not a thing is commendable right now. What's going right? What are they doing well? Not
How
a
do the
friggin'
Boston
thing.
Bruins trade for Pettersson?
I know. Can we get it over with?
I feel like...
Can we get it over with?
I feel like...
Or Miller's probably more of a Bruin.
I think they missed their opportunity when they signed Lindholm this summer. This is what I was saying in the last episode. When you commit that kind of money because you need a center and he just happens not to be, he's not your ideal choice. He's just the best guy available. And you get into a bidding war and it's up near $8 million and it's 8 years. Then you can't make this move in season. The Bruins would have been better off just being like, Swayman, here's your 62. We're going to go into the season a center short and we'll make a trade in season. We'll figure it out.
Can I offer a wacky solution that's not going to happen, but it's fun? CJ keeps saying anyone who the Canucks make a deal with is going to have to trade them a center back, probably a center of significance.
Well, it's not going to be Lindholm.
What if it was?
The Canucks tried to trade him before the trade deadline last year.
Yeah,
I know,
It's
but
not
it's
going to be
fun.
Lindholm.
Been there, done
But it's
that.
They don't
fun.
like him.
Yeah.
I
Nobody
know.
wants that contract.
The Bruins don't have... They just don't really have what the Canucks need. CJ did mention Ottawa as a team that they have the assets. They have some young defensemen in their system. They have a glut of young centermen on their roster. I mean, just say Josh Norris. I will. I'll say Josh Norris. That's a team that has the assets that hasn't really been mentioned yet. Like, we need to think outside of the New York Rangers box. Like, we've sort of zeroed in.
Something tells me if that was going to happen, it would have happened. Right? And it would be JT Miller.
No, I think the Canucks have been dragging their heels because they keep expecting this problem to fix itself, and it's getting more and more obvious that it's not gonna. Again, this is the season is very long. It's not as simple as we're playing a good team tonight, we're playing a bad team tonight. How's the team doing? I think the Canucks have the ability to be a good team. Right now, the way they've played over the last 2 weeks, they're probably bottom 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Name 5 worst teams. Right now.
The Rangers.
Not right now.
No?
No.
Okay. The Predators. The Blackhawks. The
Blackhawks are in that conversation. Yeah.
Sabres. Flyers. Islanders.
Like maybe. Dude, they stink right now.
Okay.
They're bad.
All right.
Things are not going well.
There you go.
And I think they can be a really good team. They're not right now.
I want to ask you guys a question that you will not have the answer to. But I'm always suspicious when this stuff comes up.
What?
Evander Kane, it was announced today, underwent knee surgery. He will be out 4 to 8 weeks. He had a hernia or two that he had fixed in September, which was late. And the team says that this procedure is unrelated, but it will require him to pause his current rehabilitation schedule to recover from this operation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I don't know if that means that they were trying to do it the physio way and they just realized, you know what, this just isn't going to work.
I don't know.
Or was he working out and injured it? They've been mum on the details, but is this guy going to play this year? I mean, 8 weeks from now,
he's running out of time.
8 weeks from now is the end of it's trade deadline.
Dude, being in Evander Kane in the NHL is so hard. It's so hard. Like the type of game he plays, doing that every friggin' night. We saw this kid from the time he was 19. Mm-hmm. He was fighting Matt Cook and knocking him the fuck out when he was 19.
And we were all grateful for that.
And we were all grateful for that. And now he's in his mid-30s, right? He's a 2009 draft pick, I think. So that would put him at, 34?
Mm-hmm.
He's the same age as John Tavares, same age Nazem Kadri. He was in that draft. Fuck, like that's some real hard miles. We know he got, what was the surgery he got coming out of Winnipeg? I think it was shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your upper body. You got your core injury. Now you got a lower body surgery that, like, this dude's RoboCop. It's hard, man. It's like, I don't want to say his career is done because I think that's too far. And you don't bet against that. But yeah, like how does he play games this season? How does he play games this season and prove he's better than your 12th, 13th forward? How does he play? How does he recover to be good enough to crack your roster? Like, name brand is a hell of a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want Evander Kane in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but do you want Evander RoboCop?
Right. Who's missed all the season.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably not. Like, how comparable is his game going to be to, like, late career Milan Lucic? Like, another guy who, crazy miles, made the NHL at a young age, played the same way forever and ever, and it just caught up to him. He couldn't do it anymore. 4 to 8 weeks. That's quite the range.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably because it can go really well or there can be complications.
Yeah.
Depends on what they find in there.
It's difficult to know exactly what the injury is. That is shit. That's bad news for him, man.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it changes the Oilers' playoff picture, too, in terms of what they're going after, because clearly they need a defenseman. But Jeff Skinner hasn't worked out all that great.
Did they come back last night against the Penguins?
They came back a little bit. They didn't win, though.
I saw it was, 5-0, 5-1?
And then it was 5-3.
And I'm like, yeah, it's the Penguins, though. And then I saw it was 5-3. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, no. they won. The Penguins won. BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. Has your back all season long. But let's be honest, there's a lot of wild card games going on in football this weekend, okay? Now, Jesse, if I am all weekend and including Monday, because the Rams game was moved.
No, it's always scheduled for Monday.
Oh,
yeah, just
the
the
location. So here's my question: if I am a hockey person and I bet hockey, what's my best thing to try out with football? Like, what do I want to start with?
My recommendation would be stick to hockey. It's easier to bet on.
Really?
It truly is, because football's so big. The lines are so tight. Like, if you are really into hockey and you follow it hardcore, you can get advantages over the books in some of the lesser games. Like, that's where I think you truly can like see some things. You're like, this could happen. But in football, it's too popular.
Right.
Biggest sport in the world is the biggest sport in North America. They got everything down pat, from like the backup starter, the backups to the starters. Like, it's too tight.
That's a lot of words for bet on the Ravens.
something like Nick Robertson scoring after he comes from a scratch. Like, that's what you got to take advantage of. That's what you should be on.
Someone messaged me yesterday that they put $5 on Robertson to score, and I think they turned it was like over $30. I can't remember.
That's amazing. Like, that's what
perfect.
you need to be doing.
That's perfect.
Find those sharp lines in hockey. You'll win some money.
Raise your game to the next level this year with BetMGM, a sportsbook worth a selling and an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age or older to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor, free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. By the way,
Okay.
Sidney Crosby last night moved into 9th all-time in scoring. Ahead of Joe
gonna-
Sakic.
He's going to keep rolling.
The next guy he's got to take is Mario Lemieux, who is roughly 80 points ahead of him. That would move him into 8th all-time. And if you know the crazy part about Crosby, and we could say this every episode, every guy ahead of him, with the exception, I think, of Jaromir Jagr, who I don't think he played any games in the 80s, but played in the early 90s when it was still basically the 80s. All of the guys ahead of him played in the 80s, including Gordie Howe. All of them played in the 80s when the points were goofy.
Including Gordie Howe. That's crazy.
And so, when Crosby is getting into that level, and Mario should be higher on that list, let's be honest.
Well, he played,
Way higher.
Mario played less than 1,000 games.
And he's at 1,700 something points.
Cracked.
That's insane. Like an insane amount.
Cracked.
So when Crosby hopefully eventually surpasses him, it's like this is going to be one of the only guys that hasn't done it and done it in the 80s. I think that's really impressive.
It's extremely impressive. This is Crosby Ovechkin is one of the things I wanted to write about for Hockey Rants and Raves, but I was like, okay, if there's going to be a part 2 one day, I want their careers to be over. And like when I was writing it, there was still a question of whether or not Ovechkin will break the record.
Yeah.
Now it seems pretty obvious he's gonna. I've been writing and saying in videos for years that you got to appreciate the greats while they're here. Crosby's one of them.
Crosby has only won the Art Ross twice.
That's astonishing.
Connor McDavid has won more Art Rosses since COVID than Crosby has won his entire career.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show his longevity is absolutely insane.
And consistency.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that, like, I'm looking at like who's won it in the past, and it's like Jagr, Lemieux, Jagr, Gretzky, Lemieux. I'm working backwards. Gretzky, Lemieux, Gretzky, Marcel Dion, Brian Trottier, Guy Lafleur. Like it's just
Those three had a chokehold
they did for 20 years, the three of them.
for 2 decades.
Yeah.
2 decades of if you're not one of these three guys, you're not winning this trophy.
That's actually crazy. That's true. Holy smokes. From 81 to 2001, it was those three guys.
20 years.
Oh, man, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Gretzky, Lemieux, Jagr. What, are you beating them?
You're not in those eras.
And like
no.
there wasn't even a scenario where like all three missed 15 games and fell out of the race or
Yeah. No.
Nope.
And the guy to break the streak, who was it?
So they would have won the Art Ross in what, 2002?
Uh-huh.
There's probably someone with like 76 points. 2002. 2002. A Jerome McGinley?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
pretty cool.
go. I thought about saying Kovalchuk, but he would have been too young.
And Forsberg won it the next year. Crazy.
Wow.
Do you think what do you think if Crosby passes Lemieux and he's still a Penguin? And I'm saying if.
So he would break Lemieux's record for most points as a Penguin.
Yeah, because he'd break two records that night.
It's just unbelievable.
If Crosby passes Lemieux as a Penguin, because that's not 100%, it's 99%. How do you celebrate that? Like, obviously him passing Joe Sakic is nice, but they didn't even think about it. The Penguins are going to have to celebrate this, right?
You have Mario Lemieux come out onto the ice pregame and present Sidney Crosby with a live Emperor Penguin.
Here is your Penguin.
He's already got a silver stick. He's already got all this stupid shit. No, give him something a little more tangible.
Do you stop Jesse? Do you stop the game?
Yeah. I think you stop the game for that one. Yeah, especially if it's in Pittsburgh. That's we pause. Everybody comes off of the bench. We have a mini ceremony there, and then whatever they always stop it and do a quick thing, and then they have the pregame thing where they actually celebrate it. That's probably how it's going to go. But if you want to do it truly in Sidney Crosby fashion, he gets the point, and then you go to the center ice and you drop the puck for the next faceoff.
Yeah.
If you actually want to celebrate Sidney Crosby, you kind of, maybe you acknowledge it a little, you raise your stick a little, and then you go and you keep playing hockey.
Oh, I thought
he's all business.
I thought the Crosby way would everybody goes in a corner and fights for a puck.
Yeah.
That's the celebration.
So you stop the game, you work on your edges.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you keep thinking about hockey 24/7.
Bring the washer and dryer out that he beat up when he was a kid in his parents' basement.
You present him with a silver dryer.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what you got. Yeah.
Here's what Crosby's tracking down, and he's such a cartoony friggin' player. He's a fair ways off, but still, 1,643 points. 1,723 would tie him with Mario Lemieux for the most points ever as a Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Probably gets there maybe end of next season. 32 more points. Stevie Yzerman has 1,755 points. And when Crosby catches him, what's significant about that? Well, Yzerman is 7th all-time in NHL scoring, so Crosby would move him to 7th. What it would also do is give Crosby the record for most points by a player, and this might play into why he wouldn't want to leave the Penguins. It would give Crosby the record for most points by a player with one who played their whole career with one NHL team. Most ever. Gretzky, no. Yager, no. Messier, no. Howe, no. Francis, no. Dion, no.
Dion Phaneuf, you mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Who did you think I meant?
Marcel Dion. Stupid.
Steve Yzerman owns the record right now. Spent his whole career with the Red Wings. He owns the record at 17.
That's going to be a bummer when they trade him at 1754.
It's like Brodeur going to the Blues.
Yeah.
Because I talked about for a long time, Brodeur, obviously he has the all-time wins record, but he also had most wins ever by a goalie who played their career with one team. And the second you go to another team, you lose that record.
Yes.
The record, I believe, belongs to Henrik Lundqvist with an asterisk because he signed with the Capitals, but he never played.
Right. No, that's no asterisk. You have to play the game.
I think
you have to play a game.
I think that's fair.
Wow.
That's fair.
That's cool. That's good for Sid. That's awesome. And hey, the Penguins actually won.
He's just knocking on every record book.
And this is where it kind of gets fun because Ovi and Sid, with Ovi poised to break Gretzky's record this year. I mean, this is kind of where it gets exciting. Now, Ridly Greig signed a new 4-year contract with the Ottawa Senators today. 12 points this season. Would have been a restricted free agent in the offseason. $3.25 million. He's 22. And listen, is 12 points ideal? Probably not. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who is 22, is going to grow, and is a gigantic pain in the ass.
He is.
There are not a lot of guys that can be that.
Such a pain in the ass. And hey, look at the Sens spending money on good players. And not chucking everything out the window, basically. They have money now. The Ottawa Senators are in a different conversation when it comes to this is the sort of player I feel like they would have been all right, we have our stars, we'll pay them. We're not going to pay them what Erik Karlsson wanted, but we'll pay them. Everyone else sort of needs to be league min-ish, or we'll just trade him for a second, hope for the best. try to win a Stanley Cup with a team full of 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plan was for a long time there, but to me, every signing like this would give me some relief as a Sens fan because, hey, look, like it's just a reminder that, oh yeah, there's a new owner who will spend money. Kind of nice.
Jesse, if you're the general manager, as you often have been for many, many years,
Virtually in NHL, yes.
Championship.
are you comfortable
yes.
with taking this bet with Ridly Greig?
Oh, yeah, it's so little money. Like, we need to reposition in our mind what $3.25 million is. Like, that's about what you're paying for a player like Ridly Greig. And at the end of this, he's still an RFA. Like, this dude is 22 years old, has shown a lot of promise in the NHL. He's more than worth the $3.25 million.
The other thing with the Sens that keeps getting brought up by their fans when they watch their games and when they talk about Brady Tkachuk is, can you imagine Brady Tkachuk's first Stanley Cup playoff game? Right?
Yeah.
Because of how in the mix they are, and because of how they haven't made the playoffs in a long time, they have to think about what's this team going to look like in the playoffs. Look through the Sens roster. Who do you want to see step their game up in the playoffs? Or who could you envision them stepping their game up in the playoffs? Ridly Greig's going to be an asshole in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He is going to, like, Brady Tkachuk's going to be taxed with doing a little bit more scoring. Ridly Greig is going to be shit on Velcro on some poor human being when the Sens finally make it, and it's not going to be fun for anyone.
If the Senators do make it this year, one team that they could plausibly play are the Capitals. And I think
Jacob Chikrin Bowl.
that would be one hell of a series. And listen, I give it to the Capitals. I would bet on the Capitals, but I think that if the Capitals, who are a pain in the ass for any team to play, if they would struggle in any moment, it would be against a team like the Sens. Because the Sens, at their best, when they play their best, and they have good goaltending, this is the key, kind of play a game like that, like a dog game.
Okay, you're the Sens. You make the playoffs. You get in the top 3 spot in the Atlantic?
I don't think so. That's why I said that. I think they're second wild card.
Probably not. Are you going to have more talent than your opponent?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe in a few years.
Do you have a good goalie?
And when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, sure.
Yeah.
So
great goalie.
if I'm the Sens, I count that as a yes. Okay, so we got a good goalie. So what do we got to do? Can we make ourselves better? Well, that's hard. Oh, just go out there and be better. Oh, okay. You know what's a lot easier? Making your opponent worse. I think they're the kind of team that could do that. If they make the playoffs, they could fuck your day up. Something fierce.
Yeah, you'd be hurrying for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, both Tkachuk brothers crushed people last night. I don't know if you saw the Brady on Jason Zucker hit. Did you guys see that?
I did see the Brady on Jason Zucker hit, and I was tweeting about it at 1:30 in the morning last night because Jason Zucker is down in the ice. He's getting helped off by his teammates, and Wes McCauley is like, it's Wes McCauley time. And he gets on the mic and he goes, 2 minutes for charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's the time to be working on your tight 5, Wes.
That guy lives rent-free in your head.
Oh, God. Just insufferable. Just insufferable.
Matthew Tkachuk drove a guy into the stanchion in between the bench. You know where the broadcasters are?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last night as well.
Who was it?
I can't. I think it's whoever they were playing. I believe the number was 4. I forget. I had it
Bobby
last
Orr.
night and I had it on the tip of my tongue. Hang on, I'll look up the scores. But yeah, like monster hit. And the guy, he didn't drive his head, but the guy hit his head.
He's, just accidents just seem to follow him around.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
It's a real unfortunate guy.
Or was a couple games ago? Maybe it wasn't last night. Either way, I saw the highlights last night. I was like, oh my God.
No, the Tkachuk,
These two.
They have a brand.
Maniacs.
They have a brand.
Do we want to do an early press conference?
Yes, sure.
All right, let's do that.
Let's do it.
I'm a big one later.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right. First up, we got a little proposal from Reddit.
Congratulations. Oh, not that kind of. Okay, sorry.
Dar L Marks X on Twitter screenshotted this thing from Reddit and wants us to react to it. It's from 12 years ago.
Oh God, is it a bad tweet from one of us?
They want us to take a stab at this idea. So I'm going to read this. It was Chuck Klosterman who wrote this on Reddit one day.
Okay.
He said, did a brief search and didn't find this. Hope it isn't a repost. Genetic engineers at Johns Hopkins University announced that they have developed a so-called super gorilla. Though the animal cannot speak, it has a sign language lexicon of over 12,000 words.
Wow.
An IQ of almost 85, and at most notably, a vague sense of self-awareness. Oddly, the creature, who weighs 700 pounds, becomes fascinated by football. The gorilla aspires to play the game at its highest level and quickly develops the rudimentary skills of a defensive end. ESPN analyst Tom Jackson speculates that the gorilla would be borderline unblockable and would likely average 6 sacks a game. Although Jackson concedes the beast might be susceptible to counters and misdirection plays. Meanwhile, the gorilla has made it clear he would never intentionally injure any opponent. You are the commissioner of the NFL. Would you allow this gorilla to sign with the Oakland Raiders, who this was written 12 years ago? They were then the Oakland Raiders. They are now the Las Vegas Raiders. Adam and Steve, you are commissioner. A gorilla has developed the skills to play in the NHL, in the NFL. Do you allow this gorilla to play?
Let me ask you this. This is hypothetical, right? This was not a real...
This didn't happen.
Okay, all right. Listen, with AI, you never know. Go ahead,
This is a hypothetical.
No.
Really?
What do you mean, really?
No,
it's
Adam-
700 pounds.
Adam, what do you think?
I'm gonna go no as well, not just for the safety of the other athletes, but listen. I'm gonna say this. I feel like our sports, certain sports, should be limited to humans. I know not all sports are. I know we sometimes race with horses and jump things with horses,
Yes.
you know, and we drive in cars, and I get all that.
The dumbest thing in the world is when a jockey wins an award. And I'm like, that award is for the fucking horse.
Yeah, and the horse has no idea what's going on.
Matty Mike?
All right.
If you can't use performance enhancement drugs, I don't think a gorilla should be allowed
Yeah.
It's genetically
No,
engineered
that's not.
to
That's
play
good
against.
logic. No, let the gorilla play.
You're ready.
If a dog developed the skills to play volleyball, let him play volleyball.
with other dogs.
Well, he did,
No, with-
Jesse. Air
No,
Bud.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
know
saying.
what?
Yeah.
There's Airbud volleyball.
Let them play. Let them play.
If a dog can play basketball and hockey, there's an Airbud hockey movie too, right? I
Yes.
vaguely remember
Ice
that.
Bud.
I know the volleyball one. I know the basketball one. Obviously, like if you get a dog to play the skills of a human at that high level, the highest level of the game, let him play.
I Googled it. At 410 pounds, OT, I don't know what position that is.
Offensive tackle.
There you go. At 410 pounds, offensive tackle Aaron Gibson was the heaviest NFL player ever. The former first-round pick was declared inactive in 2004. So this gorilla would be nearly 300 pounds more than the heaviest player in the history
But
of the
you
NFL.
have to take into account that he's a gorilla and isn't very smart.
A gorilla?
And that was a good.
The Mike Francis
Mike
gorilla
Francis,
story?
But that was when he was reacting to Harambe.
Yes.
Yeah,
What's it?
yeah, that's
what
right.
the hell is wrong with you people?
You're
a
rather
gorilla?
than a gorilla.
Save the child. Why are we talking about the gorilla?
You got to take into account like he's also a gorilla and isn't the smartest.
Right.
Like they said in the hypothetical there, like he can be fooled with misdirection plays.
Yeah. Yeah. he can. You know what can't fool him is nobody being able to block him.
So
Also,
basically,
Airbud Spikes Back is the name of the movie I was thinking about.
which
one's that?
That's the volleyball one.
That's the volleyball one. Yeah.
By the way,
I
there is
remember that movie.
an Airbud cinematic universe that includes Airbud Golden Receiver, Airbud World Pup, Airbud 7th Inning Fetch, Airbud Spikes Back, and then Air Buddies, which is a group of puppies. So there's Air Buddies, there's Snow Buddies, there's Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, Spooky Buddies, Treasure Buddies, and Super Buddies.
They all sold 30 copies.
Yeah, at your local Walmart in the DVD section, your grandma thought, "Oh, this will be cute."
No, just friends and family of the staff who worked on the film.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
Yep.
How did that series get as many movies as The Land Before Time? Okay.
Made for DVD, directed for DVD.
Do you like when they expanded? Did you mention Space Buddies?
Space Buddies?
When
I did.
When they expanded and then all the dogs went to space as astronauts.
They also have a Santa Paws film series, The Search for Santa Paws and Santa Paws 2, The Santa Pups. And I just want you to understand something. The Disney Buddies is one of the top direct-to-DVD franchises of all time, just behind Disney Fairies at $300 million total. The first 12 films grossed $220 million.
I've wasted my life.
Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to create good content. Disney's like, fuck it. Dog
Desperately
who does human shit.
want to see like Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
You know what's annoying?
Stephen A. Smith doing a fake rant for one of those movies would be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be incredible.
That'd be awesome.
What are we talking about? It's 700 pounds and it isn't it.
That would be
A gorilla? What are we
entertaining.
talking about?
Peak energy. Airbud's seventh inning fetch.
Yep.
They called it. That was one of the worst ones because there's no way the dog with the bat in its mouth could ever swing that hard.
True. He'd be good on defense.
Like the other sports made sense.
Yes.
Like you can reason with
Pinch runner?
Okay.
Pinch runner?
The dog's playing soccer.
Yep.
He uses his fucking paw to hit it or uses his nose and he whacks it. And the other players, you can play soccer. Volleyball too. Volleyball was one of the best ones because that makes sense. Basketball, we can reason with it. Bounces it off its nose. Got an iron nose apparently.
That's basketball. Volleyball, maybe. Basketballs are heavy.
Baseball.
Baseball.
They went too far.
It's just a bloodied to a pulp golden retriever.
You remember in the 90s?
It takes a tackle. It's someone's slide tackle spikes up this poor dog at second base.
Covering second on a double play.
And missing his 150th consecutive game is
Airbud.
I do also love about 90s movies. It's like they'd have like a title and then they'd have a subtitle about it. Kind of gave it was like a kind of a fancy way of going that this is the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you everything. So the Airbud one is Airbud. The dog is in the house.
Oh no.
Airbud Golden Receiver, just dog it.
Oh no. Golden receiver. What's the hockey one again?
Is there a hockey one? I haven't seen that.
There's gotta be.
Because the obvious title for that would be Hey There Bud. That's what it should be called.
Stop. Maybe
It's 100% what it should be called.
The whole Airbud has a YouTube channel. And all of the Airbuds are available to watch like in full.
What?
For free?
Yeah, right
On the
now.
main?
Right now I'm watching Airbud's 7th inning fetch just on the Airbud YouTube channel, the official one.
Yo, that's friggin' dude from Home Improvement. That's Al.
Al from Home Improvement.
Al Borland.
I guess he's a part of the Airbud universe. I want to get a scene where the dog's playing the baseball.
Jesse keeps clicking at different spots in the film, and each time it lands on a ridiculous scene. Like, okay, that kid just caught a slow-mo, very fake ball. You had people wrestling in a pig pen. What the fuck?
I can't.
How long is this movie?
It's 1 hour 32 minutes, 90 minutes of fun.
And you've watched this.
Oh, that guy's a bully.
When I was like six.
No, but I love that you had a critique for it.
I don't.
You're like, you know what? That's the bad one. I don't even believe that. This dog. What is it with this dog thinking he can swing a bat? Like you.
I'm pretty sure they used to play pretty consistently on YTV.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's the dog at first base.
Please pause it so we can put it on the
I'm trying to get the
visual
pause.
of the fucking dog.
There's the dog at first base. Let me get a good pause. There you go. There's Airbud at first base.
He's in first base. I guess they were right in Moneyball. It isn't that hard. It's
Oh my
extremely hard.
God.
The people who make these movies and like imagine you're there filming and you worked all your life to be a director and then your big break is filming Airbud. You got to know how ridiculous this is.
Yeah.
What's his trailer like? Imagine being the extra who made less than Airbud.
Oh, that's basically everybody in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The star.
I don't
The guy
know.
from Home Alone probably made a lot. Or no, Home Improvement, sorry.
Oh yeah. He was the human character that anchored the human cast.
Now I need to know this. He's the star. It's the star of the film.
How much did the dog make?
How much did the dog make?
Also depressing. How many Air Buds have there been?
Every movie it's a different one.
You don't know
On
that.
Wikipedia. No, on Wikipedia. It shows you.
That's bad.
No.
So they actually talk about because some of these people, some of the characters have been in multiple of these series, right? Mm-hmm. So like Buddy the dog is in not true. Buddy the dog stopped appearing in the Air Bud cinematic universe after Snow Buddies and before Space Buddies, but he was in Air Bud and the 5 original movies.
I need a Stephen A.
Buddy is the OG.
Buddy is the dog. He was born in 1988 and he lived till 1998.
It's a newspaper article of the dog with a baseball helmet, actually, holding the bat in its mouth. And the headline is Buddy Amazes as T-Wolves on a roll.
This is what I was talking about. There's no way you get enough torque with the dog and the bat in its mouth to hit a baseball.
What if the dog gets beamed? What if the dog gets hit right in the friggin' face with a...
So
they throw inside on the dog? He's crowding the plate?
Disney...
what is this?
So there...
What is this?
There are multiple articles written on how much did the golden retriever make for the film, and there is no definitive answer. Although it's common for dogs to make between $50 and $100 a day, which is not much.
50
What?
and $100 a day. That's how these films made money.
That's it.
Because the star of the film is a dog
Yeah, they just got to pay $50?
who you can simply exploit.
Well, and Disney
Do they have a union?
Disney. Well, now you.
I guess not.
No, and
they
you
have an
can't-
union.
You can't stop.
That was very good.
No.
Please clap.
Now you can't even make that because Disney has declared that they will never use actual animals in a film again
Oh, good.
because they can CGI it. But I bet CGI is more expensive than using a real animal.
I need a
100%.
I need a Stephen A. Smith rant. Like, this dog will be 12 years old by the end of his contract. He will be dead. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I need
a Stephen A. Smith rant on Air Bud.
I need the dark Batman remake of Air Bud.
I need to see the dog make more plays. So here's the dog making a play at first base.
Tag him out. Tag him out.
I told he's a
Caught the ball.
He's a
goes back
monster
to the
on
hey,
defense.
you're out.
He's a monster.
Ooh.
He's hitting in the 9 spot, but
Okay.
he's a big.
Now we got the dog at bat.
Oh God, you're right, Jesse. It doesn't look realistic.
What are we doing here, guys?
The dog has no idea. God bless the child actor who is dialed in as the catcher.
Yeah, that dog doesn't know where it's at.
Nope.
It's just holding this stick in its mouth.
Why are you hiding the signs from the dog?
Even his tail's not up. His tail's down.
You're hiding. I don't want him to know a slider's coming.
Unreal.
What the fuck is that strike zone like? Oh my
And then
God.
it hits.
Does he hit it?
Yeah, here, Maddie, pull it off and we'll watch this dog get a...
Oh, he winds
what
up.
I'm talking
So wait,
about.
no. Go back a few seconds. Okay,
He's
in
winding up.
order to hit the ball and wind up,
He has to-
the dog has to look away from the mound. Does this dog have 3 eyes? And one of them's at the ear range? It can't see the ball. What's it swinging at?
Oh my God. So this is interesting. The dog, the original dog,
Buddy.
His name was Buddy,
Who is
Yeah.
dead?
who is dead.
Jesus.
He's dead. It's a
He
dead
was
dog.
found as a stray in the Sierra Nevada in the summer of 1989 as a 1-year-old. He was adopted by this trainer, brought him home to San Diego, where he trained him trained him in the sports of basketball, baseball, football, soccer, and hockey. Buddy's most eagerly awaited sport was basketball. And I guess the trainer revealed that Buddy tried to bite the ball, but it was slippery, obviously. And he would also he would cover it in olive oil for some reason to make sure that he wouldn't get stuck in his mouth, because the dogs are trying to bite the ball, right? So he's trying to teach him. So if he keeps the ball slippery, then the dog can't bite it. And he was featured
that
on
dog shit must have been diabolical.
First appearance was on America's Funniest Home Videos. He then garnered more fame and brought his basketball skills to the Stupid Pet Tricks on Late Night with David Letterman.
What?
And then he appeared 3 times on Late Night and then The Late Show.
Air Bud is based on a true story.
Yeah.
Like,
He
in
also-
a way.
He also appeared at the 1998
I was
Kids'
like,
Choice Awards.
what children's team lost baseball games to a dog?
No, in the sense that this was a basketball playing dog.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is bonkers. That is so funny.
There's a dog out there that probably could have beat me in 21.
He also made an appearance on
I
Full
don't know
House.
if that's true.
I was pretty bad at 21.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the most controversial moment of this movie?
Of Air Bud?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did a spikes up slide.
That dog Air Bud, who we saw hit home plate, hit the ball to shortstop, and then he runs to first. And as you can see, the first baseman catches the ball. The dog is not at first. But what does the umpire do?
Safe.
Safe.
No, we need review.
Wow.
They called Air Bud safe.
No, that's stupid. You just wanted to call the dog safe.
Somebody made a bad edit.
Corrupt.
Wow.
They
That
should've-
is a bad
corruption.
They
edit.
should have got a scene where the dog was at first.
Jesse, how did you know that he didn't exist? Did you just
No, I
discover that now?
literally was just trying to watch that hit. And I
Wow,
noticed
Air Bud
that.
was out.
But Air Bud was out. Yeah, this play should have never happened.
And then the newspaper headline in the other town is like "Out Bud," and it's about the umpire controversy and how he was paid off by
And then
local city council.
This is when this minor league baseball league implemented instant replay and forever changed the game.
and then someone Tanya Harding's the dog, so he can't play in
No,
games.
that was-
God, Steve.
What?
Whoa.
It's,
I'm glad we
police
took-
found chocolate in his locker.
I'm assuming that it's not part of the movie that he was supposed to be safe, but he was actually out. I don't remember the scene, but I assume they made an error in editing there. But yeah,
Wow.
big stuff happening in the Air Bud universe.
Dude.
Trump's president in the universe.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Stop it. Only in The Simpsons.
Well, that in reality.
Yeah.
And life.
Yeah, that's too unbelievable, Jesse. We can't have Trump be the president and made for DVD.
Who's the announcer? Because they're going nuts. They're going absolutely off. Well, I know what I'm doing with my entire weekend.
Yeah.
You should show Leo these movies.
Oh, he'll love them.
Yeah, but
he's taking a lead.
Oh, he's taking a lead. You got to rush him back to the plate. This dog is a cocky asshole. Look at that face. Shit-eating grin.
All right, enough
Get
of
back on the base.
He's pretty cute.
that. With
I wanna
the
get
gorilla stuff, it was a hypothetical. For human rights reasons, you don't let gorillas play football.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I feel like we should say that.
Yeah.
human's right. to
Sorry, not
be,
human rights, animal rights.
Yeah.
I was calling it human
No, human
Well, in
rights
this
would
case,
be
human
not
rights.
be killed on an NFL field.
Yeah, I have a right not
By
to
a
die.
gorilla.
Gorillas and
By
the
a-
gorilla swings number 89 over his head. Like,
Justin Herbert gets mauled by a gorilla.
yeah, man.
TJ Watt gets choke slammed and leaves a visible dent in the field.
By the way, Jesse, who are your picks for the wild card games this weekend? Who do you like?
Off the top of my head,
I can run
Bucks.
through the games.
Bucks, Bills, Eagles, Ravens,
Steelers.
not Steelers.
Run through the games because I want to get more right than Jesse.
Okay. All right. So Chargers, Texans. Who do you have?
Oh, Chargers all the way.
I'll take the Texans. Because CJ Stroud struggled as of late, but I bounced back performance.
Steelers, Ravens.
Ravens.
You have to say
Ravens.
Yeah. Broncos, Bills.
Bills.
Snow Bowl. Packers, Eagles.
Eagles. because Jalen Hurts is healthy.
And Bucks Commanders.
Bucks.
Commanders.
All right.
This is from Canadian Bassin. Cheesy Bass on Twitter.
Bassin.
Did Mike Babcock influence what cliches are used in interviews with the media? I.e., we like our group. To have success, we need to do X. We have to look at this opportunity as we like big games. You can't take advantage of those opportunities. The standard cliches that hockey player or hockey coaches say. Do you think Mike Babcock had a big influence on them?
Okay, so to answer your question literally, I have no idea because I don't know if those quotes...
The history of hockey cliches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, here's how that could be true. These guys have a coaches union.
Yep.
It's not talked about enough, and people know about it. And as far as I can tell, Babcock is still pretty highly regarded.
Oh, Babcock's the reason it exists.
Yeah, he's the reason it exists.
Actually?
Jim
When he became a free agent from Detroit and Buffalo and Toronto really wanted him and
Yep.
stuff, that's when that whole process came together.
Jim Montgomery, before Game 7 against the Leafs last year, openly was like, I spoke to disgraced coach Mike Babcock.
Because a lot of them are Babcock guys.
Who has-
McClellan's a Babcock guy.
He set a new record. He's been fired twice since coaching his last NHL game. And it's true. With Columbus, you can be like, well, he wasn't technically okay. Well, they told him to not show up anymore. What do you call that when that happens to you?
Yep.
Right. But he is still highly regarded. We know that. We know the oldest and winningest and most respected coaches in the game still value this guy's opinion. So it is entirely possible that a guy who has had influence in that sphere for a decade plus would influence the way we talk.
I think it's
now we're
possible.
all saying it.
Yeah. He also wrote a very big book at the time, which is called Leave No Doubt.
That's right.
And everybody read it. All the coaches read it at the time. And I think for sure it's entirely possible. Mike Babcock's effect on the game should not go underrated.
Oh,
Enormous effect.
When his time comes for the Hall of Fame,
He's getting in.
it's going to be a fascinating discussion.
He's getting in. It's not the Hockey Hall of Good Guys. He's going.
Yeah, what you do as a person doesn't really matter to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's about what you did in hockey.
Except if your name is Theo Fleury or Alex McGillney.
Well,
And Alex McGillney hasn't done anything wrong. It's just that the Hockey Hall of Fame doesn't seem to like him because he wasn't the main guy on any teams of his that were winning anything.
That one's so annoying.
It is.
Yeah.
Theo Fleury should be
What
in
was
the Hall
Pierre
of Fame too.
Turgeon?
No, he wasn't. But he's in.
I don't get that one. Like, bless him and everything, but
Last thing we'll end on here, a little story. Mr. Wright wrote in and said, did you guys know that in 1983, a junior player named Tom Martin was traded from Seattle Breakers to the Victoria Cougars in exchange for Victoria's team bus?
No.
I did not know that. So I Googled it, and we have a little story here.
who had more goals?
It's an excerpt from an article written by Evan Weiner of NHL.com. On January 19th, 1983, the Western Hockey League Seattle Breakers dealt Martin to Victoria for a used bus and future considerations. Martin never played for the Breakers and decided to give the University of Denver a try instead.
If I were traded for a bus, I think I would too.
The left wing had played for the Kelowna Buckaroos of the British Columbia Junior Hockey League in 1980-81 and 81-82 and ended up on the Breakers reserve list. Martin decided he wanted to play hockey and get a college education at the same time, so it was unlikely he would ever perform for Seattle. Breakers management was looking for a deal to get something of value for an asset it would never use. Seattle was also looking for a team bus, and Victoria had an extra one. The Cougars management bought the vehicle after the WHL Spokane Flyers suspended operations after 26 games in 81-82, but the Cougars could not use the bus that was sitting in Spokane because team management did not want to pay the taxes and duties to register the vehicle in Canada. Each side got something they needed for unusable parts. Martin, a Victoria native, would play in Victoria in 83-84, and Seattle got new wheels. Seattle needed the bus after its bus blew its engine on a trip to Kelowna.
Wow.
So this is the story of how a hockey player was traded for a bus.
What is his first name?
Tom Martin.
It's Tom Martin. I want to see if the absolute sickos at EliteProspects.com have this person.
Hockey DB.
He
does.
played 92 games for the Jets, Minnesota North Stars, and Hartford Whalers.
He
This
made
man
NHL.
played in the National Hockey League
92 games.
Yeah,
and was
92
traded
whole last-
for a bus.
Yep.
Was he traded in the WHL after that? I guess what I'm getting at is, can I make a trade tree featuring a bus?
Yes.
yeah, you can. It'll be short.
You
but
can do
it.
whatever you want.
You know what?
A trade happened featuring a bus. You can do this.
That's kind of cool.
No one was ever
Shout
traded
out this
for a gorilla.
random blogspot blog, hockey blog
that's the
in Canada.
oldest looking shit I've
wow.
ever seen.
That has this article.
when was that article posted? 2002?
No, December 21st,
2022.
2022.
Whoa.
They're still blogging apparently. 2025
Who's
articles.
blogging in 2025? Damn.
Who's, I don't even know who runs this thing. I just Googled it and they got a fun Tom Martin story.
Also,
but
Tom Martin played 7 games in the second Bundesliga league. 7, I think it's 2 GBN. So I believe that is a
in
German.
Duisburg. I have no idea what that team is. Okay, neat. Show trades. Yo, I could straight up do a trade tree with this guy.
Could you do that?
I think I might have.
he was a 4th round draft pick of the Jets.
He was traded for Ivan Halinka. Dude, that's crazy. He was drafted. Okay. He went 74th overall in 1982,
And traded for
which
Ivan
means
Halinka.
over 100 people that year were drafted after a guy who was traded for a bus.
Wait, so when was he drafted?
1982.
He was traded for a bus after he was drafted. The bus trade was on January 19th, 83. I thought he was like a kid when this happened.
They traded an NHL draft pick for a bus.
A 4th round draft pick.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't
That's it. Wasn't Joseph Wall a 4th round draft pick?
Third.
Okay.
this wasn't like a 16-year-old who's like, oh, he might not be anything. This was a legitimate NHL draft pick a year later.
Who was traded for, and it can't be understated. A bus.
A
bus.
used bus.
A used
that
bus.
they didn't
Not
want
a
to pay
new bus.
taxes for.
Not a new bus. Holy
Do
shit.
you think we could get him on the show?
Well,
I think-
this was certainly unhinged.
Yes.
I think we get Tom Martin on the show.
Yeah,
Talk about being
absolutely.
traded for a bus.
I refuse to have this person on the show before Tony Hand.
I don't mind having Tony Hand on the show. I want Tony Hand on the show.
Adam hates
I just don't want the lazy reporting about Tony Hand. We get it. I want to hear from Tony.
The lazy reporting.
Yeah.
Tony-
What's the same story every time? All you have to do as a reporter is dig up the old story and go, oh, this is mine now. I made this.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.